welcome to day 4 of the festival. We are in Japan today, one of my favorite places that I've ever had the honor of being able to visit. We used to live in Southeast Asia ourselves, and so Japan was one of our favorite vacation destinations while we lived there. And my great hope for today is that you come away from our visit to Japan with the desire to go visit one day on your own or with a friend. So let's talk about our vendors. Our first vendor for today is Atelier Anna and Lappin. Anna Kawabata is a Japanese embroidery designer who draws inspiration from kawaii culture and French embroidery techniques. She incorporates everything from botanical motifs to fairy tales, animals, food, modern vehicles. She has a very popular YouTube channel where every week she releases new designs and instructional videos. Many of them have English subtitles, but I have found that those that do not are so clearly demonstrated that you can easily follow along with what she's doing. So don't let the fact that she's a Japanese designer and she's speaking in Japanese dissuade you from learning from Anna. She is offering 15% off her Etsy store, which has her kits and some embroidery supplies available for you. So make sure that you find her in the shop and click through with the coupon code. Our next designer is Duke of Nikko. Duke of Nikko is a Japanese knitwear designer based in Memphis. He designs accessories and household items and incorporates Japanese language and culture in his work. He also has several fundraising patterns for sale for various charity organizations in Memphis, where he lives. So make sure that you find his link, jot down the coupon code. He is offering 20% off his patterns while the festival is going on. Find him in the marketplace. Okay, those are our Japanese vendors for today. Let's talk about our classes. Our first class is the art of cloth dyeing. Now, why are we doing cloth dyeing when this is a fiber festival? Well, because we make our fabric out of fibers, right? And dyeing cloth is one of those wonderful skills that many of you have already cultivated, and it's something that the rest of us can learn too. Japan has a long tradition of cloth dyeing called shibori, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the afternoon classes. This class had a huge supply list, so if you are curious but don't want to take the plunge just yet, I suggest that you just watch it today and get a sense of whether it's really something you want to dive into. And then if you do, then you can get the actual supplies you need and come back and do the projects. The second class is Kawaii Amigurumi Crochet, Adorable Animals and Friends. So we've been practicing our crochet through the festival, right? Many of you have seen these before. These are the little crochet dolls with giant heads and like the black eyes. They're so adorable. People are so curious about how to make them. You will learn in this class how to design body shapes and attach things properly. It's a great little class. And our third class is actually a free class. So if you have not been doing the classes because you don't have a Craftsy membership, this one is a free one. It's called Short Rows with Carol Feller, and if you just click through, it should take you through and you'll be able to do the class. In the end, there's a pattern for a sweater. She teaches many different ways to do short rows, including Japanese short rows. So those are our classes to choose from today. So moving on to our afternoon activities, we have 2 videos from the Duke of Nikko. Now, there's 2 because one of them is the family-friendly version and the other one is for everybody else. We just had to cut out a couple jokes to make it family-friendly. I know some of you watch with children and grandchildren, so if you want the family-friendly one, that's the first one. The other one's the second one. These are absolutely charming videos. Duke walks us through Japan, the layout of the country, the people. He talks about some of the crafting companies in Japan, and he talks about the language of Japan, as well as showing us some of the patterns that he's designed that draw on Japanese language. So have a look at those. Really, don't miss those videos. They are fantastic. Right after that, I did put in a link for Atelier Anna and Lappin. If you want to click through to their YouTube and see what Anna's YouTube tutorials are like. Okay, after that, there's a collection of very short videos from the Knit Guys. They are a Japanese men's knitting group, and they go on these little adventures and they film it and put them together and put them out as YouTube videos. So they're only a few minutes long. They're also quite nice, good feel-good types of videos. After that, we have a documentary from the Kyoto Shibori Museum talking about the 11 different methods for shibori dyeing. Shibori dyeing is a resist dye technique. I actually have an example here of one of the cloths I bought at the Kyoto Shibori Museum. So the way that this one was done was the cloth was folded up in a certain pattern, and then some wood blocks were clamped in place over the fabric before it was put into the dye pot. And you got this beautiful effect of, I think, of flowers gathered together. But as I said, there's 11 different methods that are recognized as shibori, and the video goes over them and also shows some examples that are just, they're going to blow your mind. They're absolutely gorgeous fabrics as a result. So take a look at that. Then we also have a video from an indigo dyer's studio, which really shows the amount of work that goes into indigo dyeing. I think most people know by now that indigo dye is different than your typical dye. It has to actually be beaten into the material that you're trying to dye. And so you get a sense from the video of just how much work that is. But it's also a very calm video. A lot of work, very calm. I'm down with that. We have a documentary on Zen Buddhism, which is the form of Buddhism that formed or developed in Japan. After that, there is a documentary about the design and creation of no masks. No is a Japanese theater form. It's when you see everybody on the stage wearing the wooden masks that sort of mostly cover their faces. And this gets into how those masks are crafted. And then after that, there is a really fun video of what it's like to attend a Japanese baseball game. Now, Japan has a huge love for baseball. If you are there before the season, during the season, you will see ads everywhere for games coming up. They have tons of their own teams, and the stands are often full, even at midweek games. So we were lucky enough to go to a Hiroshima Toyo Carp game while we were there one year, and it was out of this world. There are different behaviors in the stands. So when your team is up at bat, that's when you cheer. You don't cheer when the other team's up at bat, even if one of your outfielders does something good. You just wait patiently. And then when it is time to cheer, it's not just, you know, go George, you're doing great. People have songs and routines that they all do together. We have these baseball bats that are joined together, I guess, so you don't get too crazy, right? But people use them as drumsticks. You know, the big Japanese taiko drums, the big kettle drums. People know songs and stuff from being in school playing the taiko drums, and they take those joyful songs and they use them as cheers in the baseball stadium, and rather than hitting a drum, they hit it with the sticks together like that. And when you're an American and you don't have the background, you just bang along. You pick up a few of the words now and then and yell those at the right time. Everybody around you just has a fantastic time. So yeah, if you do ever go to Japan, try and plan it during baseball season and try and get to a game. It's fantastic. You'll get a taste of that today in this video. Okay. After our afternoon is over, it's time to eat. We are going to have a one-dish meal today. It's called oyako danburi. It's a chicken and egg dish served over rice. And then our dessert for tonight is Japanese strawberry shortcake, which I hope that you started preparing last night, as I warned you. It's very delicious dessert, and you find it literally everywhere you go in Japan, in convenience stores, in bakeries, in department stores. You will see slices of Japanese strawberry shortcake because it is so delicious. Our evening entertainment is going to be a trip to the Kabuki Theater. Kabuki has been performed in Japan since 1603. It's gone in and out of popularity since that time, but has always been performed. People who are fans of Kabuki are pretty diehard fans of Kabuki, and this is the case from, you know, hundreds of years ago to now. There are woodcuts of kabuki actors. There are people today who travel around to see their favorite actor in different performances. Kabuki theater to an outsider can feel very over the top and a little strange. And so I found a performance for you that has a spoken interpretation or a spoken explanation while the performance is going on to help you understand the plot of what's happening. And my hope is that with that knowledge, you can focus on the artistry of what makes kabuki kabuki and not just be like, what's going on? You'll know what's going on, so you can start to appreciate the aspects of kabuki as you watch. And have a great day. Enjoy it. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.